and for all, because new issues begin to unfold as we go conversational. But then it is very important to also note the fact that just a few, was it yesterday now? Yeah, the House of Representatives has taken two significant, steps towards addressing critical issues that is affecting the country. One of such would be the fact that they have resolved to investigate the failure of the presidential fleet to perform optimally. That's right. And that has led to the president and vice president resorting to chartered flights for their engagements. I mean, there's been quite a number of issues going on, with the presidential, fleet right there. And of course, there's been a need to investigate to see whether or not it is somebody's negligence, not being very apt with what they have been assigned to do that is causing, some of the setbacks in that regard. And they've decided to look into it. Now, this investigation is also aiming to uncover some of the reasons behind the fleet's failure and ensure the security and safety of the president, the vice president, and the country as a whole. So, secondly, the House has moved to investigate casualization and the use of non-contract, workers by employers of labor in the country. Right? This, which of course violates the provision of the labor law. And this investigation seeks to address the plight of workers who are subjected somewhat to some unfair labor practices, and also ensure that the employers comply with the law. Right? So these two investigations are somewhat interconnected, right? And they both relate to the effective governance and management of the country's resources. Well, the failure of the presidential fleet to perform optimally raises quite some concern and about the management of the country's assets, while the casualization of labor highlights the need for fair labor practices and the protection of workers' rights. And that being said, we're looking into a topical issue that borders around the reps investigating labor fleet issues. So, right, that's what we're looking into this morning. And we have as our guest Mr. Benedict Olalekan Agunloye, right? Mr. Benedict Olalekan Agunloye is our guest on the Prog Show this morning, and yes, he's going to be going conversational with us as we, speak on the matter on ground, right? And he is an information professional. He is a policy and public affairs analyst, and he's going to be doing some justice to the discourse this morning. Hello and good morning, Mr. Benedict.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Pleasure to have you again on on a Friday. I mean, today on the political discourse. Are you there?
Thank God to be alive.
Of course, thank God to be alive. Okay. So, well, Mr. Benedict, how does it come to you? I mean, the fact that there are two probing. There'll be some probing that will be going on as the House of Reps have moved to take two significant steps. One of such would be to probe the failure of the presidential fleets to perform optimally, and the second would be to also look at investigate the casualization and the use of non-contract workers by employers of labor in the country, and according to them, it violates the provisions of the labor laws. What are your thoughts on these, though?
Well, when you start from, let's start from the second, which is talking about casualization.
Yes.
The question you want to answer, from ever since that we have inaugurated the monetization policies, right?
Yeah.
Ever since the monetization policy of 2007, can the National Assembly members show us the list of the personal staff that they are not casualized, the fact that they are properly paid, the fact that they have pension contribution? I doubt if any of them at that level that were meant to have personal staffs paid for by as part of their own take home are definitely not enjoying the benefits and those privileges. Now, about the same time, you go to post office, go to the rest of government installation. These staffs we're talking about, do they have any medical this thing? How many of them are paid up to 20,000 naira? So I think we are just setting up committee to be, like I would always say, to be seen to be doing things right. But the right thing to do will be to actually define a basis for all these people to ensure that it's wrongly.
All right, Mr. Benedict.
Treated
Yeah.
from the optionally to anyone, a lot of people are casual. So if they want to do the theoretical probe committee, they can go ahead and then we'll see what report they come up with. But it is true that workers are not treated well. Then coming to the presidential fleet of 2023, I think about November 2022. At that point, you will hear talking about the fact that even the services that they have done, they are owing their suppliers, and that particular agency, that's the presidential, is definitely not properly
All right, Mr.
funded.
Yeah, Mr. Benedict.
Now,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I might have to, reach out to you again, because most of the things you're saying has been, somewhat breaking. So I'll call you back now. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well, yes, the conversation is still trending right here on Eagles 102.3 FM's Eagles Outlook, where we are looking at a topical issue that bothers around the reps investigating labor, fleet issues, right? And our guest, of course, has been a little bit breaking in, and all of that. That's off and on. So it will be best if we indeed had him on call, just again, so that we can get through to the conversation, proper. All right. But that being said, while we are trying to get through to him, it is also very important to also note the fact that there is a political quote that are bothered around the fact that the government is accountable to the people, and the people have a right to know what their government is doing, right? And the quote actually aligns with the issue of transparency, accountability, right? The place of transparency and accountability, which is very relevant to the investigation into the presidential that transformed misery and despair into hope and progress, and that is according to Samuel Gompers. But let's get back to our guest. Hello, Mr. Benedict.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, this is better now. This is better. Most of the things, or some of the things you were saying, was a bit, we could not really get it, as we got the line breaking at the time. It's much better now. All right, you might want to give us a brief, just a brief summary of what you said earlier.
Yeah, no, what I said earlier was that before monetization policies of the Obasanjo administration, one of the fulcrum fights of the Oshiomhole-led NLC then was that whatever was the gain of the era from monetization till now, we have lost it because more people have become casualized than that. Because if you say it's a casual worker, you're looking at the fact that he's just paid his salary or his paid for the work done. No medical arrangement, no pension arrangement, and a lot of other things are missing. And in reality, that is the state of many of our security guards as a nation, is the state of the cleaners in the public. And so obviously, they can actually take an action to put in public space how has the National Assembly members treated the personal staff that they are being paid to employ. Are they even employing them at all?
Right.
Before you begin to talk about running the jamboree or going around the nation in the name of probing casualization. Now, of course, like I said, far back in 2022, the then head of presidential air fleet, I think one AVM Abubakar Abdullahi, had said that they were owing people supplying them spare parts, and that the funds they are getting, they are going to get even in the 2023 budget, will not meet their needs. Now, when you look at the 2024 budget, the two Gulfstream, the 550 and the 500, are supposed to be on engine. I think there is provision in the budget to repair their engine.
Okay. Hello? Okay, for some reason we cannot get back with you, Mr. Benedict, but do well to just stay put, as we would connect with you just in a short bit.
We have a serious issue,
okay,
definitely with the presidential air fleet, and I don't think it should be until that the president is grounded somewhere or the fleets are grounded before the National Assembly should think of making it an issue that should be addressed.
Well, let's go back, memory lane, right? There have been several instances of probes, an investigative committee on aviation investigated the management of the fleet. Now, the probe was also initiated due to allegations of mismanagement and corruption in the procurement of the maintenance of the fleet. Now, the outcome of that probe is that the committee's report indicated several officials, including the then head of state, chief of staff, and recommended their prosecution. However, it's not very clear if anyone was actually prosecuted. You might also want to consider the 2013 issue where there was an investigation into the abuse of casual workers. The Senate Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity at the time investigated the abuse of casual workers in the oil and gas sector. Now, that probe was also initiated due to complaints from workers about non-payment of salaries, poor working conditions, and even a lack of benefits. Now, the outcome to that very one too is that a committee's report recommended the regularization of casual workers, payment of outstanding salaries, and improvement in working condition. However, it was not still clear whether the recommendation were fully implemented. Now, let me also bring you up to speed, for 2014, where there was a probe into the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, 2014, where the House of Representatives was a committee that was set up. The committee's report here, if anyone was actually prosecuted. And this will be the last that I'll bring, to your knowledge. And this would be sometime in 2018. Committee on Banking and Currency investigated the status of workers in the banking sector, and that also included allegations of casualization and poor working that recommended the regularization of casual workers, improvement in working conditions, and payment of outstanding salaries. However, it is still not clear if the recommendations were fully implemented. It is now very noteworthy to point out the fact that the outcomes of these probes and investigations are often very unclear due to the lack of transparency and follow-up by the relevant authorities. Additionally, though, Mr. Olamilekon, you might Mr. Benedict, I beg your pardon, you might want to consider the fact that the effectiveness of these probes in bringing about lasting changes somewhat often limited by the political and economic context in which they take place, right? And does it give you some concern that this investigation by the House of Representatives might probably go down the drain the same way as other investigations had gone in previous administrations?
Well, as more of doing things right than doing the right thing, they have oversight function. They sit on the budget, right? Mm-hmm. So it should be a function of, from where you have sat on the budget, particularly in the public sector, are the funds allocated adequate for some of these things? Have there been the right provision made for the number of employees that should do the job that was supposed to be done? Now, you are also going to look at their oversight functions. Do they ask for remittances? The remittances to, because that's one of the way you know casual workers. Are they on are they on the NHIS? Are they on health insurance policies? Where is the evidence that they are? Are there remittances for pension, National Housing Fund, NSITF? Are they being made on their behalf? So when the organization cannot show you a list that suggests these things are being done, it tells you that the workers are casuals. Forget about how much they are paid. If they are not making all the contributions that are supposed to be made on behalf of those staff, when there are no evidences that they are being done, it tells you that they are casualized.
Right.
They work into ministry. And I'm even sure within the National Assembly themselves, there are cleaners that are outsourced. We possibly have some security systems that are outsourced. Mm-hmm. Before you thought, like I keep insisting, the personal staff they were expected to employ. Where are the NSITF number? Where are the NHF numbers? Which pension are they contributing to? Right? Where is their health insurance policy? When you look at those things, so it is not as that. So when you set up committee, you invite people who will come and present papers and present positions, and then you write a report. I don't think that is the starting point. The right thing to do is each committee, wherever you have oversight function, demand for the payroll, demand for who is paying the security men, who is paying the cleaners, who is paying the drivers that are not direct employees. All those jobs they have outsourced, are those staff not being treated as casuals? No, I told you it's sad. Go to any post office. Those guys in the security in our post office are paid about 15,000 naira in a month.
15,000 in a month?
Some of them are paid 15,000 naira in a month. Even in this Abuja town, many security ends that is wrong with and there is the need to sit down.
Let me bring out something from the Constitution just before. Or rather, let's just open the phone lines and then we'll bring out something from the Constitution where it pertains to the discourse. Well, you can bring your voice in, putting a probe into the failure of the presidential fleet and seeking to know where the faults are. And again, Nigerians. Okay, so join the conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are. 09073530044 or 090870766, I beg your pardon, 8888. Let me take the numbers again, starting from the top. 0907-353-0044 or 0908-766-8888. And the WhatsApp portal number where you can send a WhatsApp voice note to as well as WhatsApp message is 0909-705-4450. Well, Mr. Benedict, the part of the Constitution that pertains to this discourse, Section 14 2B of the Constitution states that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government This section is relevant to the issue of the presidential fleet's failure and the use of non-contract workers, as it highlights the importance of prioritizing the security and welfare of citizens. Now, let me take you to Section 17.1 of the Constitution, which states that the state social order is founded on the principles of freedom, equality, and justice. Now, this section is also relevant to the issue of workers' rights and fair labor practices, as it highlights the importance of promoting freedom, equality, and justice in the social order. Now, if you look at Section 22 of the Constitution as well, you would also, which states that the press, radio, television, and other agencies of mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the fundamental objectives contained in this chapter and uphold the responsibility and accountability of the governments to the people. This section is also relevant to the issue of transparency and accountability in government, right? As it highlights the importance of a free press, in government, as it highlights a free press in holding the government accountable to the people. To that end, Nigerians are beginning to say, could it be, or is it that we cannot leverage on the reports that come out from these committees and act accordingly, to these reports, and expect that we don't see a recurrence, or rather we begin to see the change that we've opted to see in the processes? Could we not find the changes at all? Can we not see that these committees will be set up, and then the recommendations that they give will indeed be adopted, and it be seen in the society as we know it, so that we don't get a recurrence of issues like this? Or we'll get back with our guest in a short bit. Hello, good morning.
Oh, Udrada, my namesake. How are you
Good
today?
morning to you.
Good
I'm
morning. How are
I'm
you
fine,
today?
thank you. BB
I
blessing.
greet our guests, so I greet our caller, although I'm not particular in the morning because the issue they bother me.
Okay.
See, let me tell you, first of all, we are talking about payment of the security ban.
Yeah.
How much? Yes, it is very good topic. We Nigeria, to talk is very cheap, but not to do, not be Nigeria problem. I'm not saying Nigeria problem, not be our government problem, our politicians and their problem. They will come out of ourselves, our president, they will come out, they will do this, and who will hold these people accountable? That's what they say to us, and we will believe. Look at it now. If I may call security now, may we ask them how much are they paid there?
Right.
You go see say some people their salary no even reach 30,000. Now welfare high. Some people go even tell you their money no even reach 60,000. Talk less of. But if they will buy their boys out, if you talk come out, they go sack you the work or they go pursue you. What do you want us to do? Now we are talking state of police or vigilante. Who will pay these people? Their government, they will come out. How much are their government pay our security? We want to know. How they say they spend Nigeria money. Nigeria want to know. Make them not just they talk. We not they know what they use our money, our oil money do. Now only they share the money between themselves. Not be waiting we want to hear with that. Make they do the useful. Nigeria will start from there. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you too, BB. Well, I think BB is also coming from a place that is very relevant, and that place would be about how much are these persons being paid, especially if you look at the security. She's coming from that angle that there should be some levels of transparency in the process and accountability. Well, Mr. Agunloye, I'm glad that you're back, and I reeled out a couple of constitution citations that mentions matters that concern upholding
the constitutions and the laws are very clear. The constitution, the laws, the act, everything is always very clear, and that's why we said it's about the operation. National Assembly would make law and they should have oversight functions. They review the budget, is it not? So for me, I don't think that it is this ad hoc committee and investigation. No.
It won't solve the problem? Isn't it a step in the right direction?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
The committees should relate with the agencies and the bodies that they monitor and demand for a list. Like I said, okay, how many people are you employing? How are they paid? Where is their pension? Who is their PFA? Where is their NSITF number? Where is their NHF number? What is the medical provision made for them? Is it that you are paying them medical allowance, you're linking them to an HMO or possibly NHIS? Then if you do that across board, each committee can then be able to write its own report on the state in the sector, not set up a blanket committee that is running from pillar to post and will eventually come up with conjectures. No, let's have transparent reporting from each of the committees on the areas where they have oversight function. And I think that will give us a clear picture of what is on ground.
Okay.
And of course, like we said, for the presidential air fleet, we've been seeing lapses over.
Yeah.
Now, if as at the time we were putting together this year budget, you have already put 6 of the plane in the flight to be for engine repairs or engine replacement, provisions were made for them. Has the committee followed up to be sure that these fundings have been released and if this maintenance were done? Because the maintenance were possibly already due, the replacement were already due before we enter into the year, but we are already in May. Now, there are things that are priorities and should be given priorities to.
Well, I'm glad
the committee on aviation should be able, or whatever the committee in charge should be able to tell us exactly this is how much has been released the presidential fleet this year. This is what and what they have been able to do, and this is what they are doing next. When you get into the process, then you will realize where did the lapses came from, that the president would have to go out with a jet and then the jet will not bring him back.
All right, let's put a peg to your thoughts.
Now find his means to come back.
Yeah, let's put a peg to your thoughts. Pay some bills. We'll be right back in a short bit, okay? Right. It is still Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And yes, I see your calls. Keep in mind that we don't just give you an audio experience. We give you an audio visual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
You're the God who answers prayer.
Christ Embassy Ministry Center Abuja presents Day of Bliss with highly esteemed Pastor Obi Chiemeka. Date Saturday, May 18th. Time 4 p.m. Taking place at the following venues: Indoor Sports Hall, National Stadium, Abuja; LEA Primary School by 3rd Avenue, Gwarimpa; Christ Embassy Karo Crusade Ground, Plot 501, Jikoyi Integrated Layout, Karo; Berger Football Field, Berger Bus Stop, Lugbe. For more enquiries, call 081-8171-1204. That is 081-8171-1204. God bless you.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this announcement. Luxlair Construction Limited presents a limited time offer on its off-plan price for Kasana houses till June 15th. Grab these incredible deals. 4-bedroom terrace duplex at 40 million naira. 3-bedroom terrace duplex at 35 million naira. 2-bedroom flat at 23 million naira. And 3-bedroom flat at 28 million naira. The first 2 buyers of the 3-bedroom duplex will get it at 33 million naira. For Life Camp, the ongoing project is still available and many subscribers are moving into the estate. 3-bedroom terrace duplex at 43 million naira and 4-bedroom terrace duplex at 52 million naira. Covered by NHF and rent to own scheme. They also offer 6 to 12 months flexible payment plans. For more information, contact Luxler Construction Limited at 070-5758-2753. That is 070-5758-2753. Secure your dream house now.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this announcement. Breath King Homes and Properties Limited announces a 40% discount on Bismuth City, Kurudu. 180 square meters for a 2-bedroom terrace duplex, now selling for 1.8 million naira. 350 square meters for a 3-bedroom terrace duplex, now selling for 3.5 million naira. 500 square meters for a 3-bedroom fully detached bungalow with a BQ, now selling for 4 million naira. 550 square meters for a 4-bedroom fully detached penthouse with a 2-room BQ, now selling for 4.5 million naira. Facilities include perimeter fence, security post, and many more. Our site location is before Army Estate, Phase 5, Kurudu, Abuja. Our office address is Suite 47, Shalom Plaza, Plot 1088, Joseph Gomok Street, Gudu, Abuja. Call 080-6222-0673. That is 080-6222-0673. Breath King Homes and Properties Limited. Announcer.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Feels good to know that you're still there. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, where we give you an audio-visual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. My name is Uduak Daniel, and it is 37 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side. We're still having that conversation that bothers around the fact that the reps have decided to investigate labor issues and fleet issues. And you would recall that as we got into the conversation this morning, we brought to your eardrums the fact that 2 significant steps the House of Representatives has taken to address critical issues that affect the country. And one of such is the resolve to investigate the failure of the presidential fleet to perform optimally. Another would be the place of investigating casualization and the use of non-contract workers by employers of labor in the country. And according to them, it violates the provisions of the labor law. And we still have our guest who is joining us via phone call in the person of Mr. Benedict Olaliko Agunmoye, in the discourse. If you also want to join the discourse, you want to let us know why it is that some of these workers rather are being put at a place of casual staff rather than giving them the full performance placement as a full and complete staff. You can join the conversation via 0907-353-0044 or 0908-766-8888. Taking this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
yes, morning. Good morning to you, Honorable.
Sorry for morning program.
Yes,
a lot of mix-up.
A lot of what?
I agree with our guest there.
Okay.
And I want to chip in a little.
Yeah.
You see, why we are seeing this issue casualty
Mm.
in employment is out of frustration.
Frustration.
Yes,
Okay.
Nigerians are frustrated. I remember when my 14 years in National Assembly, I was having almost a whole house that was filled of TVs, and there was no employment. So when you don't have anything doing and someone is offering you a little, you cannot reject. And you know our union, the levels are not even working. National Assembly who are going for these functions now, I want to assure you that nothing will come out of it. Let's just look at it very well. Apart from that they have gone through, they have done. Is there anything that came out of it? Nothing. And then there's something I want to tell our guests here. You see, this staff employed by National Assembly, hospital race members are public servants. They are not on casual DC, and their salary is even more than permanent staff of the National Assembly. I was one of them. I worked with the speakers. I was one of the senior front. I want to tell you that they are public servants because they pay them higher than the National Assembly permanent staff.
Really? Okay.
If a member decides to take a staff outside, they fight. They are five. They are five, by giving to each and every member and senator. Except if you are a senate president, that is a presiding officer. That is why you have more than five. So I want to put that in question. I want to tell you what I see. This committee they are going to go into. What is this our aviation minister? Let him come out and tell us what's the problem. That's the presidential flint. It's not something that we join with. Imagine if anything happened to our president. He should come out and tell us.
Right.
The money has been budgeted. I have a copy. I can maybe show it. Quote the copy for you. The money is there. Why not prepare this thing and put this in order?
Right. All right. Thank you so much, though, and Honorable Edwards. Honorable Edwards, right there, has made it loud and clear. Right. You also want to join the discourse? You can call the studio lines. Well, let's get back to our guest, Mr. Benedict. Well, you there?
Yeah,
yes.
I think I listened to the last speaker.
Yes,
he has made some salient points. But saying that the money is there, no. A budget is a proposal. So he can say the money has been provided for. He cannot give, except he has evidence to say that the money has been released. That's when you say the money is there. That it is provided for makes it a proposal. And that's why we were saying on the presidential fleet, for instance, from January to date, can we have the list of fund releases? And it's the committee in that sector that should go into the ministry, between them and Ministry of Finance, and check what level of maintenance fund, engine turnaround or engine replacement fund, have they released them to the ministry or to the presidential air fleet?
Right.
And what have they been able to achieve with the funds that were released? Now, if the funds are not released, then we want to ask the question, what effort has the people who were responsible for pursuing the release of the funds, what have they made? And then the other question will be, who were those that certified the plane that the president was taken from here, that will now take him to Holland and not come back? Well, did they notify the president of the possibility of that action before leaving the country? Was it in their original plan and agenda? And what were the facts necessary for mitigating the scenario? So I don't think it's not a dragnet noisy probe. It is about the committee going to ask the right questions to the House. Don't set up a fresh committee to probe. There is a committee that is responsible for the presidential fleet and related matters. There is a committee that is responsible for finance. Let the two committees go and do their oversight function.
Right.
These things are in the budget.
Okay.
Now, at the point of also having the budget, did they get a timeline plan of the presidential air fleet? okay, we are doing this maintenance, this engine replacement in March, we are doing this maintenance in April, we are doing this one in July, this is slated for October, which means that are given an advice as to when those funds are expected
so
to.
Can we not say this issue is a matter?
Such program?
Yeah, can we not say it's a matter of negligence? Is this not a matter of negligence?
We've always said that a lot of time we are paying for inefficiencies
right
in our system. So for me, it's an outside fact that there has been lapses and there are inefficiencies. But again, before you just, so that not to make a wide allocation, that was why we said, ask for what was the maintenance schedule of the presidential airfleet for the year. What was, because the maintenance schedule that would determine the fund releases schedule. Has that been shared with the Ministry of Finance or the funding authority? Has that been shared with the House Committee on the presidential airfleet? If that has not been done, then the inefficiency is forced from the House Committee, except they have a letter to say we demanded for it and they didn't give us.
Right.
And if they demanded and they did not get it, there should also be a follow-up query to say that we have demanded for this, you didn't give us, this and this and this is the follow-up action.
Right.
Now, if the National Assembly cannot show that, then the committee is inefficient and the committee failed the nation.
All right, let's look at some implications and expectations of Nigerians. I mean, Nigerians are expecting improved governance and accountability, where Nigerians expect that the investigation should lead to improved governance and accountability in the management of the country's resources, and that investigation into the presidential fleet failure is expected to also ensure the security and safety of the president, talking about the president, vice president, as well as the country as a whole. But when we look at matters that concern the fair labor practice, the investigation into casualization and the use of non-contract workers is expected to lead to fair labor practices and the protection of workers' rights. But there are fears that even after all of these has been carried out, especially when we look at the place of the casualization of contract, non-contract workers and all of that, that nothing might just be done. I mean, we already know that these things are things that are in the society, but then who's going to make that voice count to speak on behalf of these Nigerians? We've seen situations where Nigerians are working, under a very, very unheard of circumstances, and yet getting little or no pay for their services. And just because they have to put body and soul together and then looking at the reality of the economy and everything, they just have to, keep their mouth shut, adopt the culture of silence, and just go through with the suffering and inhumane treatment at these, organization and all of that. We've also seen issues where security personnel, just like you rightfully mentioned, have been paid 15,000 naira a month, which may not even be the actual allocation money for their salaries, but there are bottlenecks, middlemen, who have decided to siphon these monies. And it's not just with a private organization. I mean, it's there with the government organizations too, where even I can give you an example of a nurse who was very qualified, but then when their salaries are being slashed into half, and they are not even aware of it. Right? And it's a government organization, right? So in these regards, Nigerians are saying, do you think that we could actually go through with these investigations here and there and indeed come out with something that is viable, verifiable, and trustworthy, that would be implemented, and that would, where the changes that would be seen and felt and not just heard on paper?
Well, like I said at the beginning, when you say an investigation, a probe, for me, it's more of a jamboree, giving people opportunity to defend themselves. What we should be asking for is the committee should come up with specific reports. Get a template for the report, list of employees, right? Their PFA, you may not even ask for how much they are paying on their behalf, but where is their contributory pension number? Where is their NHF number? Where is their NSITF number? Where is their HMO number? Right? If they can generate that, and the name of the pension fund, the HMO name are there, then there can be verification. But where those numbers are not possible, they cannot generate them fictitiously. And they are not telling you, oh, we have 100 staff. Give us the list of the 100, stating their NHIS number, stating their HMO number, stating their PFA number, and the rest like that.
So whereas that is not possible, whereas that is not presented, what happens?
Yeah.
What should happen? What do you think?
So where we cannot do that, it means we are not ready. Because it's data that should go into planning, not statements, not oratory prowess. You see, I used to have this friend when I worked for a multinational company. The guy would always tell us, he said, when I speak Arabic, the Egyptians say my language is not pure Arabic. Okay. When I speak French, the French people make jest of me. When I speak English, he said the English people make jest of me. He said, but you know, when I put numbers on the table, right? He said everybody agree with my numbers.
Awesome.
So that tells you the power of data.
Yeah. And that also tells, but if we're going to sway on the power of data, have we seen data as something that Nigeria seemingly leverages on when we are talking about issues that border around several aspects of the country? Do we even have it?
The truth for us is that have we really gone for the correct data? And that's why we are saying, don't let the committees do their oversight function and demand for that as a matter of priority. Give a deadline. And I'm sure that the president also knows the value of data as a financial person, right? So I'm sure if the House says, look, any organization or company that cannot provide this data should get some measure of sanction.
Okay.
After the expiration of the deadline for providing it, I am sure that they will get the executive support in that regard. And because those sections we have stated in section 14 and 17 clearly support those activities, the basis for those activities, even the judiciary will not stop the action from going on. So for me, it is going for the right data that will be the right thing to do. And so when you are now speaking, you are speaking to the data. Now, you know what would that also do? If some of them are actually not doing the things we said they are not doing, then they may make efforts to start.
Okay.
And if they start, you don't have to punish them anymore. It means that the people have now been enrolled. Abi?
Yes.
So, because the idea should be an action that will push everybody to take the right step, to do the right thing. The right thing is to regularize the employment.
All right,
regularize. And the only way to regularize it is for you to ask people, show us these records of what you have been doing with this staff.
Right.
And we see that HR management everywhere will sit up and begin to work. But when you say it's a probe committee, they will come, they will tell you lies. They will color the facts. They will tell you half truths, and then they will go away. And then you will write a report that may not be actionable. But when you gather data and you are sure that the data are genuine, and you make effort to verify the data, and any organization found to have lied on those records, of course there should be heavy sanction, not just a pat in the back. No, there must be serious sanction and consequences for lying with your staff record when you are submitting it.
And that
will go a long way to put a check on the casualization program.
And that's not only just for the casualization. Of course, there should be some active responsibility, according to you, to get the culprits of or the people who are responsible for the presidential fleet failure in that instance too. Well, anyways, I want to say a big thank you to you, Mr. Benedict Olamilekon, thank you so much for being a part of this discourse. You are indeed a very resourceful person, I might add, and your information professional, policy and public affairs analyst. Thank you, far too kind, and have a lovely weekend ahead.
You're welcome, and you too.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay, great. Well, that's Mr. Benedict Olalekon Agunloye right there. But just before we call it, close, it is very important to state the fact that Franklin D. Roosevelt had said that the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who